HIV/AIDS remains a significant public health challenge in Africa, where millions of people continue to grapple with the impact of the virus. Despite the global efforts to combat the spread of HIV/AIDS, the situation in some African countries remains critical. Below are the top 10 African countries with highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS in 2024. Number 1. South Africa, with 7.5 million people. South Africa consistently ranks high in HIV/AIDS prevalence, and in 2024, it remains a country with a substantial number of people living with the virus. The country accounts for the third of all new infections in southern Africa, and the government has implemented various programs to combat the epidemic, including widespread testing and treatment initiatives. The country also has the largest anti-retroviral therapy program in the world, which has undergone even more expansion in recent years, with the implementation of test and treat guidelines.
Number 2.
Nigeria, with 3.5 million people. Nigeria has the second largest HIV epidemic in the world and the second largest HIV epidemic in Africa. The country also has one of the highest rates of new infections in sub-Saharan Africa. As the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria faces significant challenges in tackling the HIV/AIDS epidemic. High population density, stigma, and limited access to healthcare contribute to the persistent prevalence of the virus. However, the government is actively working on awareness campaigns and treatment programs. Number 3. Kenya, with 1.6 million people. Kenya has made commendable strides in the fight against HIV/AIDS, yet it still grapples with the virus. The country has the third highest HIV epidemic in Africa, with an adult prevalence rate of 4.0%. Number 4. Mozambique, with 1.8 million people. Mozambique is one of the countries in Africa that is heavily affected by HIV/AIDS. The country has the fourth highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS in Africa. Factors such as poverty, limited education, and high incidence of other infectious diseases contribute to the challenges in controlling the spread of the virus. Efforts are being made to improve access to antiretroviral therapy and enhance public awareness. Number 5. Tanzania, with 1.4 million people. Tanzania has an estimated population of 1.4 million people living with HIV/AIDS and an adult prevalence rate of 4.5%, making it the fifth country with the highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS in Africa. The government is working towards strengthening targeted interventions to address the diverse challenges faced by different communities. Number 6. Uganda, with 1.4 million people. While Uganda was once the epicenter of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, the country has made significant progress in recent years. However, challenges such as limited resources and the growing population continue to impact the effectiveness of the prevention and treatment programs. As of recently, the estimated HIV prevalence among adults aged 15 to 49 stood at 5.2%. Women are disproportionately affected, with 8.8% of adult women living with HIV compared to 14.3% of men. Number 7. Zimbabwe, with 1.3 million people. Zimbabwe has one of the highest HIV prevalence in sub-Saharan Africa at 11.6%, with 1.3 million people living with HIV/AIDS. Zimbabwe, like many southern African countries, is dealing with high prevalence of HIV/AIDS. Economic challenges and limited health care infrastructure pose obstacles to effective prevention and treatment. However, ongoing efforts focus on improving accessibility to healthcare services. Number 8. Zambia, with 1.2 million people. Zambia has the 8th highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS in Africa. To curb the prevalence, the government in collaboration with international partners, is implementing comprehensive strategies to address the multifaceted challenges associated with the virus. Number 9. Malawi, with 1 million people. Malawi's HIV prevalence is one of the highest in the world, with an estimated 1 million Malawians living with HIV/AIDS. Number 10. Cameroon, with 560,000 people. Cameroon holds the 10th position among the top 10 African countries with highest HIV/AIDS prevalence in 2024. Presently, out of 560,000 individuals living with HIV, approximately 37% to 43% have access to antiretroviral therapy. Those are the top 10 African countries with the highest HIV/AIDS prevalence. For more informative videos, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below.